let's face it, the human race has certain goals, whatever era you dip into. Everybody wants to live longer. Everybody who studies medicine has been studying how to make us live longer. And there has been measurable progress.
Greetings, prisoners of gravity. This is Commander Rick. Up here in Earth orbit, while scanning the airwaves, I noticed a trend. First, the seemingly immortal Superman dies. The next month, Mel Gibson plays a flash-frozen Rip Van Winkle in Forever Young. The next month, the real Iceman makes the cover of Popular Science, and Omni magazine explores cryogenic freezing of human beings. Then I see Natalie Cole singing with her dead father, and dead celebrities electronically resurrected to cavort with Paula Abdul for Diet Coke. And now even Superman is being reincarnated. Seems it's time to talk about immortality. Nancy? Fame, I'm gonna live forever.
Rising anti-Semitism in Eastern Europe has voted English only sign. 40,000 tons of armed with PCBs blew up the ozone layer today.
Standing by for solid rocket booster separation.
The immortal gods of Olympus, the magical fountain of youth, the vampire who can't be killed. Stories of immortality have been around forever. In Joan Vinge's The Snow Queen, the empress of a primitive planet imports technologies from around the universe to preserve her life. And Joan Vinge herself has been preserved by technology on tape. My friends in control back on Earth dug up this conversation I had with Joan at the very last science fiction convention I attended before leaving the planet. They beamed it up to me. In The Snow Queen, I got the feeling that you were saying people who are trying to achieve immortality are in a way arrogant and very selfish. Is that true? Is that a fair description?
Well, I don't know if I was saying arrogant and very selfish, but I don't know. I think, from my own feeling, that I think people would find that if they were immortal, it wouldn't be all it was cracked up to be. I think probably everyone thinks they would like to live forever and never have to die, but you know, there was a certain amount in the book, I think, of people think about, you know, after a while, what would it be like to have repeated all your experiences over and over again? You know, there's the sense, too, of, you know, what you mean by immortal. Do you just mean a few hundred years, or do you mean forever? And I think that, you know, people would not be human beings as we know them if they were, you know, if they were immortal. I think there would be something else altogether. I'm not sure I would want to be that. Of course, I'll never know for sure.
But the fact that we are going to die in some ways is really what makes us human.
Yes, that's right. I think it is.
In the Bible, Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, and Methuselah lived to be 969. In Methuselah's Children, Robert A. Heinlein's 1958 novel, we meet Lazarus Long, the patriarch of a family of immortals created by selective breeding. In Back to Methuselah, a 1921 play, immortality offers enormous benefits, according to George Bernard Shaw, who is now dead. According to Bob Shaw in 1 Million Tomorrows, immortality is possible, but the price is impotence. So what's the point of living when all you have is time on your hands? In Joe Haldeman's Buying Time, the price for longer life is cold cash. You can't take it with you, so pay $1 million, hand over all your assets to the Stallman Foundation, and their patented process gives you another decade, another 10 years, to earn another $1 million, to buy another treatment.
Then, as you know, at the end of the book, the process changes, and he's starting to look toward a life that may be thousands of years long and intensely transformed, both in terms of his sensory abilities and in his intelligence and ability to retain facts and memories. So he becomes something more than human.
What originally drew you to the theme of immortality?
That is the most randomly chosen topic I've ever had. Literally, I had read that Somerset Maugham would pick the beginning for a story by opening the Bible at random and putting his finger down and taking that verse or just that word. So I opened a thesaurus and put my finger down at random. I didn't like the word, but this thesaurus at the bottom had little quotations. And one of the quotations was, "The long habit of living indisposeth us toward dying." And I thought, well, there's a title. And I wrote "The Long Habit of Living" and started writing a story. And years later, I had to come up with a novel package, so I took those 4 or 5 pages and ran with it. "The Long Habit of Living" is the title of the book in England. It was always my title, but my American publisher thought that that wasn't commercial, so I changed it to Buying Time for America.
Others have written about immortality for less random reasons. For example, Len Wein, the creator of Swamp Thing. Len made the primary villain of his early stories the aged Anton Arcane, a scientist with a lust for life. And thanks to one of the members of Control, we'll find out why.
Why is Arcane so obsessed by immortality?
I think that just fits in with me. When I was younger, I was very sick. I came very close to dying a number of times. And I have a mortal dread of it. When I think about the fact that someday I will not be, it stupefies me. I mean, literally, I'm incapable of thinking. I curl up in a little ball and can't deal with things. And again, I think any writer's characters are extensions of the writer, dealing with aspects of his problems along the way. And Arcane was my way of trying to come to terms with life and death and immortality.
Neil, why is immortality such a major theme in The Sandman?
I think the theme of immortality is present in all my work, not just Sandman. And if it isn't there as immortality, it's there as its flip side, which is death. It's there because life is really interesting. Because personally, I find the concept that an individual consciousness can ever stop, that the wonderful thing that is a human being could ever actually end, one that's almost incomprehensible. It's something that in Death, the High Cost of Living, which I'm currently 3/4 of the way through, two-thirds of the way through, again, I'm finding myself, rubbing straight up against this. What good is death? How do we cope emotionally with death? What is death? And immortality, I suppose, is a way of looking at that.
What do you see as the major downside to immortality?
Boredom. The real major downside probably isn't even boredom. It's just when life gets bad, sometimes the fact that death is there is one of the good things in life. Sometimes you can actually go, well, this isn't going to last forever. One day I'll die. Now, that probably doesn't bespeak a terribly healthy attitude, but I think it's kind of nice to have that boundary there.
I think there's something inherently scary about the thought of eternity. I mean, ideas of heaven and hell. What makes hell really scary is the eternal aspect of it. It's 500 billion years and you haven't even started yet. I mean, not 1 second of eternity has elapsed. Heaven, likewise. What if you go to heaven and you don't like it, and it's boring, and you're here forever, and it's not as good as you thought it might be? We sort of crave immortality because we all fear death, basically. That's the fear, I think, which overshadows all others. But immortality, it's a kind of a two-edged thing. You may live forever, but if you can't die and life becomes unbearable, will it be such a desirable thing?
The unbearable boredom of being. That's the motivation for the mischievous Q on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Peter David has written several Next Generation novels, and Q was the cornerstone of Q in Law. But even earlier, Peter explored immortality with the character Agamemnon in The Incredible Hulk.